All right, there you go, folks. That's 1 down, 5 to go. EA's conference. Okay, let's all put up our virtual scoreboards for that. Out of 10, Scott Butterworth, what are you going to give Electronic Arts?
Not a lot of surprises there, and actually there's some stuff that I really wish we'd seen more of. Like, I really wanted more Andromeda, and what we did see was pretty enticing, but it would have been great to get like actual gameplay, something like that.
Yeah.
So, they kind of played it safe, a lot of really expected announcements. I don't know. I'm going to go 6.
Okay, generous. Lucy?
I'm going to go 7. No, because they had a couple of really nice things that everyone seemed to ignore, like the EA Originals.
Right.
That's
they were
very
talking
true.
about giving money to charity, all that kind of stuff, working with
Played
The
it.
old
Yeah.
money to charity trick.
working with special effect. And of course, I completely loved the Andromeda and the Faye?
Fair.
They said
Fair.
fee.
But that looks
Fee.
interesting. So yeah, we predicted pretty much all of that, but
Yeah, we
giving it a
go
7.
us. We were right about
We
the
did real
indie,
good.
like last year's Unraveled. It's this year's Fee.
Yeah.
Although I like the idea of that program that they're going to be expanding that and
Yeah.
encouraging. I mean,
You had your chance. Jess, scorecard.
fair enough.
Yeah, I think it's a hot 7.
Yeah?
I enjoyed it. I actually thought maybe I was more pessimistic. I thought we might see less of Andromeda than what we saw.
Yeah.
I
Right.
really liked everything they said. Like everything they said they're working towards for Andromeda is basically like everything I've got on the wish list. Like I can't even think of anything that I wish they teased at related to that game that they didn't. And what we did see of, even if it wasn't, in-engine gameplay footage, looked gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Fair enough. All right, let's ram through this list of games. Everyone who's watching on the live stream, they're starting to get that Battlefield gameplay event going, but they're going to talk to Zac Efron and Jamie Foxx for about 10 minutes probably, so we'll be done and dusted by the time that thing started, so stick around.
I'm jazzed.
Yeah, for sure. Get your questions in Twitch and
Zac
the
Efron or-
GameSpot chat as well. Okay, first things first, Titanfall 2.
Yeah,
Starting off.
you already seen it.
That was probably like of the footage they showed of the actual gameplay that we saw during that press conference. That was probably my favorite. I mean, it was also arguably the deepest look at any of the games that they were showing off. I mean, Star
Yeah.
Wars, they kind of rolled everything together, but Titanfall, it's like, all right, here's 2 separate trailers, one for multiplayer, one for the single player campaign, which we knew about, but now, hey, it's official. We got this big trailer. We got the kind of creepy AI voiceover and the sort of hinting at this relationship between pilots and mechs, which we had speculated on, but now it's really confirmed, and it was nice to see it in action.
Yeah, so the multiplayer looks great. I mean, you can see how like a couple of years as well has really given this engine a bit of breathing room. But I like even like that transitioning into Titans that are already on the field instead of just jumping down into them.
God, I
super
feel
dynamic.
like they're just really learning a lot. Like, I mean, obviously Respawn's a team that's proved themselves to be quite reliable, but they also seem to be massively listening to what their fans want and stuff like that.
I mean, yeah, single
And-
player was like the big ask from last year.
This gameplay looks great. It looks like they're incorporating a lot of sweet mechanics.
Yeah, from
brand new things
Overwatch.
to change up the
There's
From
tracers,
Overwatch.
there's
Yeah.
Zarya's ult.
They
Like
are
I
borrowing
went-
a lot of those like
Yeah.
sort of added mechanics that are layered on top of the typical first-person shooter looking stuff.
Sorry, you were saying?
I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. I think it looks sweet. I mean, they look like they're, delivering on the grappling and everything like that. Like, they've already got mobility down as such a central theme of what Titanfall is, and it just seems like they're just expanding on that. So it's like everything is faster, everything is parkour and movement and skill-based, and I don't know. I think they got it down. I think they're on the right track.
It's going to be interesting what they do with the single player campaign, because obviously in the multiplayer, like Titanfall is based on this foundation of you being able to move better and shoot better than everyone else. Interested in the single player aspect of that at all, Scott?
I'm happy that it exists. Yeah, I mean, I was definitely with the chorus of people saying, "Where's the single player?" I mean, that's definitely how I like to play games, and I think that there was, a lot of lore simmering under the surface in the first game that you just kind of you could tell was there, but you weren't really able to explore it, given that it was a multiplayer only game. So I'm excited that they're going to be able to really lean into that stuff and give us more insight into the universe, and it seems like it's going to lend itself well to a single player experience. So I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah, coming real soon, October 28th on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Okay, they talked about esports for about 15 minutes. Should we just skip over that?
Maybe.
Esports, that's
That
a
was,
thing.
yeah, it sure is a thing.
Like
It
esports
is
is a
I
thing.
mean, it is a thing.
It is.
It's,
but, like,
esports is relevant.
esports
that's
is
true.
relevant to the esports crowd. And like to people
I
who
think
don't
it's
like
relevant
it, it's
to
like
gaming.
fair
I
enough.
don't particularly involve myself in esports
Yeah.
personally, but I think it is very relevant and becoming more relevant as we move forward year after year.
I feel like this is the third or fourth year where esports has had a big crowd, and E3 is just not the place to spend
That's
10
probably
minutes
true.
talking about it.
I mean, the
That's
same
not
as
that
E3
crowd,
isn't really the place where we hear about PC games. It's
Right.
just
Yeah. So anyway, let's move on. Mass Effect Andromeda. We got a dev diary.
Finally.
Lucy.
Well, yeah. I think they're just going to hold off for Gamescom because it's coming out next year, so they'll want to
Right.
focus on Battlefield and want to focus on Titanfall. But I was really, to be honest, I was expecting less footage. I was expecting
same.
just like, again, the concept art stuff. But what was interesting is that the concept art that they were showing is the concept art we saw like 2 years ago, but this time fleshed out, characters in it, better lighting effects, more movement, and also a first look at a protagonist who everyone was crying out for FemShep in the original trilogy to be the face of the trilogy, and it looks like they're leading with that.
Yeah, that's pretty
Andromeda.
cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
What
New ship
impressed you?
here, the Tempest, looks an awful lot like the
just-
Normandy.
Yeah.
But what I kind of liked is because you also got to see a relay, is that they're kind of holding on to the old Mass Effect, and especially in terms of like just the look of it and some of the keystones, like the Citadel, those kind of things, and some of the creatures and races. But they aren't afraid to be injecting new things, like this new creature here, these new environments. So we get to see an Asari. She's definitely in there, and I think what looks like a Yarg, which with the Shadow Broker was. So it's this real mashup of old and new, and I am super excited.
I'm getting the impression, like, I think planet exploration is going to be great. I mean, because we know the Mako's on board. We've known that for a while, which means I'm sure we're going to be back on the ground again. And that's been less of a focus, more on the cities and things like that, Presidium and all that. So I think that's going to be awesome. And just like how dedicated they seem to be to how alien everything is going to be, ironically, because we're the alien. But I think that's going to be great. We're going to see less humans. We're going to see them branching out more. I think like trying out, different themes of planets, different races, and just, they know they can deep dive into lore and into like just completely invented spaces, and that we're going to lap it up.
Yeah.
So I think like because they've got all that backing, we should see some super good shit.
Exciting stuff. I mean, it'd be great if we saw some more of it at the Microsoft and Sony things tomorrow,
yeah.
but
Still
we'll have to
time.
wait and see. FIFA 17, they showed a bunch of that as well to a crowd in London who presumably doesn't really care all that much about football because the Euros were literally on. The Germany-Ukraine game was on. It was finishing as FIFA was on. So they showed off single-player stuff. You can never tell if FIFA,
Can we
how
talk
it
about
plays.
that opening monologue for a minute? That
That was unusual.
was
Which, the Jose Mourinho thing?
no,
or the, oh,
I'm
no,
Alex
the,
Hunter.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Well,
That's like this year's
I mean,
Hoop
he's
God.
obviously
This year's-
their actor.
Yeah, but
It was sort of an
bit
odd
much.
tonal shift from the rest of
Well,
the
no one else
conference.
is an actor on the stage.
No.
So yeah, I guess.
wow.
Yeah, they showed that off. I mean, the FIFA, the Journey stuff, we don't know how it ends up. Will it be good like the Fight Night Champions stuff? Will it be not so good like the 2K16 stuff? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. At least they're trying something new. I mean, it's
Yeah.
FIFA's
Yeah, that's interesting.
about the first time they've added something this large into the package in about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see. They had Arsene Wenger and Jurgen Klopp on the screen, and then Jose Mourinho came out and chatted for a bit. They showed another trailer, and then we were into EA Originals. And
Hey.
Zoink from Gothenburg with
I
a little
love
game.
that.
Fair.
This is exactly what
Fair.
we were talking about.
You did.
Yeah.
You called it
Exactly
beforehand.
what EA does, and I think it's awesome. And I'm glad that they want to do it as a whole thing as well. Like, because obviously they're recognizing, they know they do that, and it's like, well, I mean,
Yeah.
clearly you want to make a big deal out
But they
of
only
it.
showed one.
Yeah.
So what do we think of it?
I think it looks adorable. It looks like Ari. Ari in the Blind Forest.
Looks like Ori. It looks a little bit like Tearaway. From the original concept,
geometry.
from the concept art, I thought it looked a little bit like Limbo, but obviously now seeing it in action, it's
It's
Right.
obviously purple and not black and white. So.
I feel like I've played this game about 6 times over the past 2 years, though.
Do you reckon?
We kind of, I feel like we're really getting to the bottom of the well of the
Adorable little critters. Pinging
like
and
platformer thing. Yeah.
See, I'm yet to get sick of that.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So
I'm just cynical when it comes
this
to those.
looks scary. These dudes, the big towering guys,
They're red.
obviously
Kind of look like the things from Recall.
the foes. Yeah,
Right, yeah.
they're kind of creeping me out.
So there you go. That's Fe.
Yeah.
The
Fair.
most interestingly named game we've seen today for sure. And then we had Star Wars, a whole bunch of Star Wars, and they had Galaxy Heroes and the Old Republic and Battlefront on behind them.
Yeah, we're just like, we're making Star Wars games.
Like
Did you know?
we've already made a bunch. I want to make some more.
Unnamed games that will probably come out in the next couple years.
Yeah, so they didn't name any of these, but
Nope.
they did show
We got baby glimpses.
little teasers of 3.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Yep.
So I guess I win by default.
You do.
Damn it.
New Battlefront 2017 coming from Motive, coming out in 2017, sorry.
Yep.
New Battlefront they showed. New action adventure game coming out of Visceral. Then they had Respawn's third person game, which they said was in a different era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
could
interesting.
kind of mean anything. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
big timeline to work with. So
Yeah, and the whole thing kind of felt like one of those like paper announcements where they use this to like get a lot of talented people to come and help them make these games. You call that one actually, Lucy. There was like an X-wing or a TIE fighter in virtual
in
reality.
VR. No, that was.
Oh, was that you,
Oh,
Scott?
no, I said X-Wing
Nice.
this time. You said.
either way, we definitely talked about it, and
Yeah.
there was a little glimpse of it just there that certainly looked like someone in a headset.
So that
Yeah.
guy
getting into an
there,
X-wing.
this guy used to work on Far Cry 4.
Right.
So it'd be interesting to see if he went straight from that to Motive or Respawn, wherever that was.
Respawn's looks interesting because they're all about the lightsaber fights, and I'm instantly thinking, oh man, I'd love to play some more Jedi Knight multiplayer.
That guy watching the lightsaber fights right now is just really intense.
So
He's
into it.
loving it.
Yeah.
Loving it.
Yes.
Stig
Good old
Amundsen,
Stig.
massive fan of those sabers. And then they went into Capital Games a little bit with what they were up to up in Sacramento. But yeah, we saw a little
We
sneak
saw
peek of
3 seconds
Of Amy Hennig's
of
one?
Amy's
Yeah.
game.
looks all right.
Yeah,
Wait,
that-
is that 4?
And it's pretty. Well,
Like the marketplace. with the
there's like
flyover.
11.
Yeah, good
so
point.
many
Good
Star Wars
point.
games.
But
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
nice
I'm
to get-
excited for that.
Nice to get some FaceTime for both Amy and Jade, both
Yeah.
Yeah.
spearheading huge Star Wars projects.
Leading the charge on both of those.
Yeah.
And they also sort of said that there was a bunch more content coming to the Old Republic and to
Yeah.
Battlefront and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, EA's making a lot of Star Wars video games right
Yes,
now.
they are.
And hopefully we'll see some more gameplay of some of them. I just felt a
Yeah.
little bit like, oh, you
The blue
gave me
balls.
enough. Yeah, I got the blue balls. You gave me enough that I can't
Yeah.
complain, but
Yeah.
like not enough
I
to
really
satiate
did
me.
we can still complain.
expect different segments, like at least a little bit of something.
Yeah, like a montage.
I guess it was
Names,
too much.
titles would have
yeah.
been good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I had
no
my
titles.
fingers crossed for Visceral, but oh well.
Yeah, we'll see.
I wonder if
Yeah.
the next Battlefront will still be multiplayer focused, if they're just going to let like the visceral game kind of handle the single player side of things.
Right, yeah, I wonder will they tip their
Yeah.
hat like Titanfall have as well? Guess we'll have to wait and see. We have to wait to see this little bit of this 3 seconds
Yes.
of hot gameplay
Yeah.
action
This is
though.
very important.
Yeah, so
Everyone just sit quietly
This is like,
and wait.
I know, right? It's just thinking, yeah, okay, we got look at here we
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Look at that high dynamic range.
I mean,
Boom.
it's real pretty.
There you go.
Real pretty.
It's very suggestive banners waving in the wind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little details, you know.
Yeah.
And then that was it for Star Wars for a little while and Patrick Bach came out and they showed it was kind of weird. They showed like a very short single player like snippet
Like
from the trailer.
15 seconds?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure why the false start there. That was a little odd. Like, we're going to
Right.
tease you with it, and then we're going to show you the full thing in 3 minutes' time. That's,
Right, yeah.
I don't quite get the...
Yeah.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. Well, once they finally showed the full thing, it looked pretty cool. I like the
Yeah.
idea that we're going to be piloting, like, Zeppelins and apparently an armored train. Or
Right.
like, the behemoth vehicles sounds very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll do anything like 2142's Titan mode, where you had like a big, ship that you had to like take down. I wonder if
Yeah.
that'll be part of the multiplayer, perhaps. This trailer looks alive. Have any guys seen Lebanon? That movie?
I've not.
It's like the Israeli tank movie where it all takes place inside of a tank.
Oh,
There's
wow.
kind of a lot of that happening there with like all these dudes crammed in there. So I wonder if maybe that's part of the single player
Yeah.
campaign stuff.
Perhaps,
Looks
yeah.
great though, doesn't it?
But the single player is from
Yeah.
different people's perspective, right? So I
Right,
imagine
yeah.
you'll get to play as
The Harlem Hellfighters.
the Harlem
they think,
Hellfighters, the British. Do we get to play as Germany?
Right.
Russia? Who
But
knows?
there's like Bedouin tribes they had in like chasing after a train.
That
Yeah,
was
that's
cool.
like, seemed a little
Get out of our
outmatched.
desert.
Yeah, that's maybe
It's
not the
definitely-
smartest tactical.
Feels like a heightened World War One. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
because we did at the start, they were like, we're doing like a take on World War One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like, obviously, I think it's just them being like, we got World War One, and I do think they've already said they've gone to a lot of effort to research what was actually used in combat and stuff like that, and incorporate heaps of that into the game. But I think it just means at the end of the day, we're playing a Battlefield game, and
Right,
it needs
yeah.
to be a Battlefield game. So
I think people were quite worried is that like we're so accustomed to all the drones and the high tech that like it would be seen as a step back and like
Yes.
be slow paced and whatever. But
Yeah.
from this trailer, at least from the cut of this trailer,
oh yeah,
definitely doesn't seem.
I
to be
think
the
we can
case.
expect high energy,
Yeah.
Yeah, look at this nonsense. It's ridiculous.
just high energy with
Yeah.
horses and tanks,
And stabbing fools.
Stabbing.
And planes
By
going way too
planes.
close to the
biplanes,
ground.
zeppelins.
And friggin' windmills.
That
This
was
is
that a
great.
crossbow?
Lots of destructibility. They also said there was going to be like dynamic weather coming into it, which they kind of had added into a bunch of the Battlefield 4 maps, especially the ones in the sort of ocean ones, the island ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks interesting. And that was basically it. That was EA's press conference. They are apparently streaming now the Battlefield 1 multiplayer thing, so we will not hold you guys up any longer. Before I let you guys go, what was your favorite thing you saw in EA's conference? First of all, Mr. Butterworth.
Titanfall 2.
Okay. Excited for that
I
one.
reserve the right to change that to Andromeda when we see more of it.
Right, fair enough. Lucy, what about
Andromeda.
you? Okay. And Jess?
Yeah, Andromeda. Yeah. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. I have faith.
Yeah. We didn't.
I am the optimist.
Speaking of faith, no sign of Mirror's Edge at all, actually.
Oh.
Oh, it just came out though. You know,
Good
people
point.
at home playing
Yeah,
it.
we'll
Yeah, but
probably
usually they
play
go
it.
like, hey, and we just released this
Yeah,
one.
please
but
go buy
No
it.
Yeah.
now.
DLC or anything.
we'll
Yeah.
have to wait
It'll probably
and
be
see.
playable on the show floor or something just to remind people.
Yes.
Hey.
Yeah.
But
It'll be like Uncharted or The Last of Us that year. Okay, so that's the show for now. That is one down, 5 to go. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that follow on YouTube, hit that follow button on Twitch if you're on there. If you're watching on GameSpot, stick around, folks. We will be back at 6:30. Bethesda's press conference starts at 7. We're already hearing rumors of some crazy announcements coming out of there. Not stuff that leaked last week, so you may want to tune into that. Pretty late for the Europeans, but it'll be worth it, I promise. We will be live right here on GameSpot.com/E3/live or on Twitch and on YouTube from 6:30 Pacific. That is 4 hours from now. Do the math. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you then. Take care.